Welcome back to the channel. Now, this channel is, in my mind, to try and improve road safety and to actually make advanced driving more fun, or driving in general more fun. But safety has to be at the top of everything. So hopefully you're getting some benefit from these hints and tips that will come in future videos as well. But today, like I said in my last video, I want to talk about the introduction, or the proposed introduction at the moment, of graduated driving licenses in Ireland from the 1st of October 2026. Now, the graduated driving licence is a scheme that's used in other countries. I think New Zealand use it, Australia I think use it, and I'm sure other countries in the world use it as well. But it's a road safety scheme that's primarily designed to reduce disproportionate involvement of young drivers in fatal and serious traffic collisions. Now, I'm just going to quote some stats that have been published. So apparently in 2025, 56 people were killed in road traffic collisions, which is a reduction of 13 on the 2024 figure of 69. But in 2024, this is in Ireland, by the way, there were 164 casualties, that's either killed or seriously injured, from collisions where a car driver aged 17 to 23 was responsible for that accident. And this age group, so the 17 to 23, accounts for 24% of fatal or serious collisions, despite holding just 8% of the driving licenses in Northern Ireland. So I just want to go through what they're actually proposing as part of this graduated driving licence scheme. And I'll talk about some advantages, some disadvantages as we go through that just pop into my mind. And then hopefully I can get some of your comments about your views on this. So let's start at the beginning then. A mandatory minimum learning period of 6 months before a learner driver can undertake their practical driving test. So I'm assuming this is the time between when they take their theory test and pass their theory test and to actually take their practical driving test. And in that 6 months, they will undergo a program of training that details the learning required to become a safe driver, and which must be completed and recorded in a logbook before a learner driver can undertake their practical driving test. Now, this is where I start to think about some advantages and disadvantages. So what is that program going to include? So they say they must complete and record a series of skills which then must be signed off. Well, what are those skills and who is going to sign them off? Because if it's a driving instructor, that obviously has a financial impact, because that is going to incur a number of different modules, and for each of those modules there will probably be a fee, I would imagine. A driving instructor needs to make a living, so he charges for his lessons or her lessons. So that's a concern as well, a financial impact, especially when we're talking about 17 to 23-year-olds, where their income is generally, restricted in some way. They're not generally high earners, so it's going to have a financial impact. But also, if they don't have driving instructors signing that off, who can sign it off? Is it anyone with a driving license? Because in my view, that doesn't work. Because that could just be someone who's very early in their driving career. Does it have to be a parent? Well, there could be some bias in there that they just go, yep, this is fine. There are some questions that need to be addressed there, I think. So let's go on to the next one. So an increase in the restriction period from the current 12 months to 24 months, requiring new drivers to display a distinguishing mark, so probably a plate, and I think when we go on a bit, it will be shown to be an R plate. So they'll have to display that plate on the vehicle for 2 years after receiving their full licence. For a period of 6 months, with nighttime driving restriction for new drivers under the age of 24. So again, why, if you're taking your test later, you're older than 24, why does that give you the privilege of not having to undertake that nighttime driving restriction? Is this based on the skill of driving, or is it just based on age related, which seems unfair to me? I think it should be based on skills. So another issue there. So again, the next one, age-related nighttime passenger restriction for newly qualified drivers, with the exemption that they can take immediate family members. So you can take your own family, but you can't take friends. And I think this is based around the sort of issue of a group of friends going out, people showing off their driving skills, not being competent to drive at the speeds that they're actually driving or in the weather conditions they're actually driving. So you can take your own family members, but no one else. And then the graduated driving permits will allow L drivers onto a motorway as long as they're accompanied by an approved driving instructor. Now, I think this is an approved driving instructor actually with their own separate controls of the vehicle. Not sure about that, it's not clear. But once the learner passes their test, they will be issued with the new R plate that I talked about earlier, which also then allows them to drive on a motorway where they can drive up to the posted speed limit, which is basically, on a motorway, national speed limit is 70 miles an hour. So that's the proposal. Like I say, I think there are some advantages. Certainly stats from other countries show that there is a significant reduction in accidents involving young people, or new drivers, I should say, through the use of graduated driving licenses. So I think overall I'm in favour, but there are a few things that are going to have an impact, like I say, maybe a financial impact from the extended period and the modules that need to be completed. I'd like to see what those modules actually are. And also, obviously, if you've got to drive to work of a night time, if you do a night shift, then that's going to have an impact as well. You won't be able to drive until you've gone through that qualifying period. So those are my views. What are your views on the graduated driving licence? Because they're proposing it in Northern Ireland at the moment, but they are consulting in the UK, so it's likely that this is going to come into effect at some point in the near future, I would think. Hope you found that interesting. Come back, and the next time the video will be on some practical advanced driving tips. So hope to see you in that one.